In this video, we are going to download and install Visual Studio Community 2022. This is a newer video. I have gone ahead and uninstalled 2019 and we are using 2022. So this will walk you through all the different parts that you'll have to do to download it and then get it installed on your PC. Okay, we're going to start out at Google and just type in Visual Studio Community 2022. And I'm going to go ahead and click on this link, the first one that comes up. And this is the link that you want. And I should see that it pops up. Here's my, I already did this earlier, but this one's gone. So I've redone this. I'm going to go ahead and click this button. You may have to go to your downloads folder if you don't have a quick way to get to your downloads from your browser. Okay. So before you can install any parts of Visual Studio, you'll have to install the installer first. Okay, yours might not be as quick as that because, like I said, I just deleted everything. So that downloaded and installed pretty quick there. So once you have the installer come up, here's where most people get lost because there's so many different options here. It used to be you would just go pick out the individual components, but you can see there's so many of them now. I don't have time to go through every single one of these, so I'm actually going to try to use one of these setup workloads, okay? And I'm going to download the one under desktop and mobile, the one that says desktop development with C++. I'm going to go ahead and select that. And I can see, as I was looking through the individual component list earlier, some of these, especially the Windows 10 SDK, and then also the C++ tools here, plus the sanitizer. I was going to do most of those anyway. I don't know anything about these other tools, but I'm just going to leave it alone and just do an install by just clicking this box here. Okay, that's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to choose any other options over here. Now you can see the total space required is about 8 gigabytes. Okay, if you wanted all of this stuff, if I just said, well, it's free, so I want everything that's on here, I'm going to go ahead and select it all. Okay, so now it's so big that you could download up to 40 gigabytes. Okay, so obviously I don't want all of this stuff, but this is potentially a giant program. So you really only want to grab what you need. But if you have plenty of space and you just want to play around with the stuff at some point, by all means, you could click every single one of these if you wanted to. Okay, but I'm only going to do this workload, what they're calling a workload right here, this little package. So I'm going to go ahead and install that. Okay. So this is what I mean by it taking a little while to download. All right. So right now I'm at the very beginning of this. I'm downloading this on campus. So we've got a pretty good bit rate. I don't know how fast the server is going to release the bits though. So that may be the limiting factor. I don't know. But anyway, we'll see how quickly this goes. If it starts ticking off faster, I might stay with it. But I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and pause this and then let it download for a little longer and tell you about how long it's been based on where the progress bar is. I'm jumping back in here because it's actually showing you what the transfer rate is. So I'm getting like 5 or 6 megabytes per second. So this will take just a little bit to get it all on here. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes. We're just over halfway. Again, I'm getting a pretty strong connection here on campus. I've got 5 megabytes to 6 megabytes per second, and that's where we're at. So in my situation here, it took me about 5 minutes to get to this point. And as you can see, we just passed 90%. It's been total about 10 minutes or so. And it's getting ready to finish the downloading. It's installing it while it's downloading, so that's a nice feature because we're going to be about halfway done by the time this, well, maybe not halfway done because this is pretty close. But it's almost all downloaded, at least for this part of it right here. And again, it's installing as we go. Okay, so it's just completed that the download part. Now just waiting on it to install the rest of it. Hey, we're right at about 15 minutes or so, and as you can see, we're now at about 64% of the final installation package. Okay, so now at about 20 minutes, we are getting ready to finish up the install. So I'm going to stay with it here until it goes to 100%. Okay, so here we are. It's finally done installing. It says we recommend rebooting soon to clean up any remaining files. I'm going to go ahead and I think once I reboot, I'm not going to be able to come back to this video, but maybe I can put two of them together. Um, or maybe I'll make it two parts. So I'm going to go ahead and restart my computer, reboot it. You should probably do that after every install, but they're recommending I do it, so I'm going to go ahead. So I will attach or append the next video onto the end of this one. Okay, so we're back, and I'm going to go ahead and try to launch Visual Studio 2022. I'm going to go all the way down to the V's because that's where yours is probably located as well. Some of you may not have that shortcut at the top, but I'm going to go ahead and click on Visual Studio 2022. A little bit different graphic here. I think I like the 2019 better, but that's okay. I'm going to do the same thing that I always do when I install a new version of Visual Studio, and that's to write a very basic program just to make sure that all the functionality is there and I didn't miss anything. Now this part right here where they're signing you in, if you put your Ivy Tech email in, it will automatically grant you access. You have to use your Ivy Tech email because we have an agreement with Microsoft. So obviously I've been on Visual Studio before, so it's gone ahead and recognized that I'm probably the same person using this account. You may have to sign in and or put your email there if you've not used Visual Studio before. And don't use the Yahoo email or anything like that. Make sure you use Ivy Tech, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and create a new project. This looks the same. Always want to choose empty project. I don't want anything preloaded. I'm going to go ahead and just call this test project. I don't care where it's stored. I'll just store it in my normal location here, and I'm going to say create. So far, nothing is different. This should bring up the environment. It does. And my Solution Explorer is already expanded over here. If you log in and it looks like this, then make sure you expand it so you can see your source files down here. So I'm going to go ahead and right-click on source files and say add new item. And I want a .cpp file. I'll go ahead and name this test project and say add. Okay. I'm just going to put a couple of comments up here. Okay, so I'm going to pound include IOStream. Standard namespace. And I'm going to use int main instead of void main. Put my return 0 in. Okay, so I've added my source file. I have put a couple of comments here. Normally I would put my entire algorithm up there first before I did any programming, but I just want to get some things printed on the screen to see if it operates the same way. Okay, so I'm not even going to put declare any variables. I'm just going to do a cout statement that says, I hope this works, \n. Okay. So the IntelliSense is working. I can see that. So let's go ahead and try to debug this and run it. Hey, there we go. Okay, so it looks like so far everything I've done, I've done in all the previous. Like I said, the initial download part is a little bit different, but it seems like this is working pretty well. So hopefully you have the same experience. Make sure you choose just the that standard workload that I showed you before, and I think that you'll be okay. Don't try to choose a bunch of extra stuff, or don't try to just choose the individual components. If you want more functionality from it and you have the space and you have the time and you want to download it, by all means, go download as many of those workloads or packages that you can, okay? And like if you want to maybe write an iOS app for your Apple device someday, or if you want to write an Android app for your device someday, they have those mobile app packages that you can download as well, okay? So I think that concludes this, and hope it was helpful. Thanks.